We're here at One Paved Court for the Candy Concrete exhibition.
Hi, I'm Gary Scholes and I'm showing a series of 5 paintings based on my interest in illustrating imaginary landscapes. This painting here is one of my favourites. It was painted a couple of years ago and shown in the Wells Art Contemporary, and it shows my interest in military history in terms of observation trees, which during the First World War were used by troops to provide cover for soldiers that were observing the enemy on the front line. They were composed of steel, armoured steel with a hollow core, and these were put up during the night in place of trees that had been sketched by an artist and removed, and in its place would be an observation post, similar to the sort of style that you see here. I'm quite interested in the fabrication of materials used to produce landscapes, and as part of that I decided to kind of play around with the materials and how it's represented. So this looks kind of like a plastic kit that's formed of 2 sections. You can see the locating holes, that kind of thing. And it shows one of the kind of themes that runs through most of the paintings that I've got on show here today. This piece, entitled Component, shows the creative process I used to produce this series of stylised landscape paintings. I often start off with a drawing based on a particular vivid dream and combine it with images, diagrams and symbols from technical manuals and landscape photographs. I then use acrylic paint and highlight areas of the drawing, or simply whitewash and conceal other parts. So in the end you have a sort of complex layered painting that invites you to decipher half-hidden, half-revealed messages. The pink objects that float in the middle of each of the paintings are a reference to icons found in video games. Centre of the screen, they're bright and they focus your attention, but maybe it's what's happening in the landscape that's more important.
I'm Annie Clark, and here I'm showing a series of drawings, concrete sculptures and digital prints. The concrete structures are architectural, but represent human emotion. There's an element of defence, of hiding away and feeling safe and protected. And like people, they're full of contrasts, whether it's the colour, materials or form. In this piece, called Bound, I've contrasted the heavy concrete structure with a fragile network of threads. An even more intricate mesh of gold thread is buried in the centre, almost indicating a treasure to be found. And so with those concrete structures, I then take them into landscapes that I've photographed. And that allows me to show them at the scale that I imagine them to be. And with these digital prints, I play around with the colours and just have some fun with them, really. And it's very instinctive, the colours that I choose, so that I create a very powerful final image. Our collaborative pieces bring together our love of brutalist architecture and the lighter pavilion structures. For these we collaborated from the very beginning, developing sketch ideas and maquettes, and then we'd work together building the moulds, often out of perspex, and poured in our particular concrete mix. After taking these out of the mould, we continue working on the piece until we feel it's complete. As we continued this collaborative practice, we decided to group structures of similar scale, lined up, almost like a street, and observing how they might relate to each other.
This piece was inspired by Second World War pillboxes. Pillboxes sited on the south coast were occasionally camouflaged as local buildings, including tea rooms and ice cream kiosks. The surreal juxtaposition of child-friendly advertising and a military structure appealed to us. It was also an opportunity to experiment with using sugar cubes as building blocks and the interesting way it has reacted with the concrete. This piece, Defence, is a combination of some of the visual elements found in both of our artworks. Bunker structure, steps to a subterranean world, and fissures and cracks in concrete. During the making process of this piece, we realised that the crack could be seen as a geological feature that reveals something of the interior of the structure. We both independently had the idea of incorporating a pool or stream of mercury. We then had to find out a way of creating this illusion. The Candy Concrete project has provided us with our first experience of collaborating together.
And we now have plans to continue that collaboration in the future alongside our own practices.